What is up, everybody? It's your boy Diablo Dollar Sign back with another banger of a video for you guys on the channel. And today, I want to talk about the Harry Potter TV series that should be coming out here very soon. Um, I don't know what to think about it. On one hand, I never planned on watching the TV series because I grew up watching the movies and reading the books. Yes, I read the books first. I started reading them or getting them read to me rather in like the first or second grade. And then I started watching the movies maybe, I don't know, third, fourth, maybe even fifth grade. Probably more like third or definitely third or fourth grade. I started watching the movies. So I was like maybe 8 or 9 when I started watching the movies. It doesn't matter. The point is, I grew up on the movies. I fell in love with the OG actors and actresses. And even though I wasn't alive for to see all of the movies in theaters, I still grew up falling in love with the original cast. So I didn't think, and I still don't. I believe that it's gonna take time for me to get used to the new actors and actresses in the show, especially considering I'm generally not the biggest fan of child actors. I think that acting is a skill that needs to be honed over time. And I think that, yes, kids do have the skill, but generally they don't have the time to hone that skill. And sure, what's the word I'm looking for? There are some outliers in that category, some really good child actors that I have seen over time that are very good in their roles, but they're very few and far between. And I think for a show as or an adaptation as high profile as Harry Potter, I think you really need everything to be perfect. Otherwise, people aren't going to fuck with it. And especially for the budget. I mean, just for the first season, it sounds like the budget's what, like $1.2 billion dollars with a fucking B, dude. That's like the highest budget for a show ever, basically. Um, they're basically gonna be building a whole small city as the set for the fucking TV show, which is going to be crazy. I think that there's potential for this show to be the best thing ever, but there's also potential for it to fall right onto its face. And the reason I say that is not only because of the child actors and actresses, but also for the simple fact that I don't know, bro. The cursed child was just shit. The cursed child was just terrible. And generally, everybody who is a fan of the book series agrees on that. That the cursed child was just not good by any extent of the imagination. It just wasn't good. The effects and the set for the cursed child was pretty cool, but as far as the story, it was just bad. The character writing, just everything about that book, not a book, that fucking play was just terrible. And yeah, I've read the screenplay. Yeah, I've tried sitting through a re-upload of the play, and I can't. It's not good. And the fact that that's canon kind of shows that in later life, J.K. Rowling is kind of saying fuck it. Anything's canon at this point. And I feel like she's built such an extensive world between Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts and I mean all the other books that she's kind of released surrounding the series, Quidditch Through the Ages. I mean, a lot of those books didn't really set lore per se, but at the same time, they they set a certain precedent that there's a certain quality that people expect from Harry Potter, and especially for a fucking TV show that had over $1 billion put in just for the first season. Um, a lot of people are complaining about the fact that one of the writers has never read the books, and I think I I borderline think that that should be something that most TV shows should do for book adaptations. And the reason why I say that is as long as the author is alive, like take Rick Riordan, for instance, and the Percy Jackson TV show. He's still alive and he is, kind of going around and adding extra plot points that weren't in the books to kind of flush out the TV series and make it more interesting, sort of focusing on other characters. And it sounds like the Harry Potter TV series is going to do the same thing. And I think as long as most of the writers know what's going on in the books, having one or two that can kind of bounce ideas and be like, hey, what if we did this? It kind of creates some interesting conversations in the writer's room of, hey, is this preserving the original creative vision to add this slight change? And yes, on one hand, it's supposed to be a faithful representation of the original book series. But on the other hand, I mean, so is the Percy Jackson TV show. And in season two, we kind of saw them focus on Clarice more. We saw um just a lot of scenes that weren't in the books to begin with. And it sounds like the Harry Potter TV show wants to do the same thing. Um, Another issue that I've seen a lot of people have is the fact that the actor for Snape doesn't particularly fit the role. And I'm not sure what they mean about that. Um, I think what I'm more worried about is that the actor for Dumbledore is gonna die before the last season comes out. Or, I mean, specifically before season 6 when his character is gonna die off. I think that's what I'm more concerned about. As long as the actor for Snape, kind of holds the attitude and does a really good job in the role from that sense, I don't think visually it matters if he looks exactly like Snape was described in the books. Maybe that's just because I'm blind and I don't care about shit like that as much. But I don't know. I feel like that's really the thought process that a lot of people should have on that front. Um Overall, I think I'm probably going to watch it. Um I don't know if it's going to be right when it comes out, but I'm probably going to watch it and see if I fuck with the series at all. And if I don't, then I just won't watch it. And if I do, then I will. Another complaint, one of the bigger ones that I've seen a lot of people talking about is, oh man, maybe it's too soon for a retelling of the story. And to that I say, okay, it's going to be like 16 years ago in 2027 when this fucking TV show airs. It's going to be 16 years since the last Harry Potter movie came out. And in that 16 years has been a whole nother generation of kids who have grown up potentially on the Harry Potter books. That's a whole new generation of people to bring into the theaters. And even myself, I'll be 22, 21 or 22 when the retelling comes out. And bro, I'm not gonna lie, I'll sit down with a bottle of whiskey and fucking watch that shit because I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think there's potential for it to be really good. Like I said, there's potential for it to be really bad. But as far as it being too soon for the retelling of the story on the big screen, I disagree. I disagree because 16 years is not a short period of time. That's a whole nother generation of kids that have been born, almost a whole generation of kids growing into adults that have been born since the last movie has come out. Certainly, the freshly 18-year-old kids are not going to have been to the movies to see the Harry Potter films. And if they were, they don't remember that shit, you know? I never went to the movies to watch those films. I got the Deathly Hollows and the Half-Blood Prince on DVD. Aside from that, I watched all of the movies on cable when they aired and they would do those Harry Potter marathons. That was the first time I had seen all the movies. I mean, that was the first time I seen the Goblet of Fire at all was on cable TV. I was really disappointed, but that's a whole different can of worms, honestly. Um that's neither here nor there. But uh I don't know. I think it could be good. I think it could be good, but I think as far as trying to say that it hasn't been long enough, bro, it's been more than long enough. Would you rather them do it after J.K. Rowling died? I think is the biggest piece for me. That's the big question I think people should be asking themselves. I think they're doing this because J.K. Rowling is still alive and well, and they're hoping that she's going to remain alive and well for the next 10 years so that they have the author to go back to and say, hey, is this a good screenplay? Because the moment that she dies and the IP falls into the hands of whoever owns it, whether it ends up being Warner or HBO or whatever large company ends up owning the IP for the Harry Potter franchise, they are going to fucking drive it into the ground. They did it with Star Wars. Um, is going to happen with Harry Potter for sure. For sure. I have no doubt in my mind. And some people are going to like it. A lot of people aren't. A lot of the OG fans of the series are going to fucking hate it. Um but regardless, I think they're trying to really get this done before J.K. Rowling passes away. Um because once she does pass away, they're going to do whatever the fuck they want. They're not going to have someone to go to. And at that point, everyone's just going to fucking hate everything they're putting out. They're still going to put large budgets into it, but I think they're going to market a lot more towards kids at that point, sort of like what they're doing with the Star Wars movies. You know, the OG fans of the Star Wars movies, you'll know what I'm talking about. The original trilogy was good, the prequel trilogy was okay, and then aside from that, there were like one or two decent TV shows, and there might have been like one or two movies that were okay, but the sequel trilogy was just garbage. Um, and so I don't know. I think I think there's definitely something that can be said about J.K. Rowling wanting to get this series done before she dies. I think that's the big reason. Having said that, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments.